And you should be told that you're being recorded now. So starting off, Cindy Mattingly from Healing Way Center, and tonight we're talking about the energy of your space. So I feel like I probably say this almost every time we get together, but I've always felt energy. I didn't always have the language or the plan or the system or that kind of stuff. But the beautiful thing is after a while, energy teaches you. If you're listening and you're paying attention, then the energy will go, oh, well, that's definitely not the right way, or that doesn't really work. So I'm going to do the screen share in just a moment, but I'm going to start with just reading off the website, what I put on the website, so that we're all on the same page. We want to give your environment the attention it deserves so that it supports you. This is a really important concept. It's important for you to have a stable container to support you in all the changes that you're making or going to make. And what I want to do tonight is give you some steps, very specific, to clear, rebuild, and strengthen. This is, I have a background as an intermediate feng shui consultant. So that means I know enough to make me dangerous. We all know what that looks like, right? But my idea of energy and how it moves in the environment is those are the three basic concepts. And you have to do all three of them for you to really have a good container. What we want to do is set up your space so that it aligns to your inside and your outside. What's going on in your environment reflects what's going on internally and vice versa. So the first place we want to look at is the viewpoint. We all have heard about unified field and consciousness and things of these sorts. But the key piece is how do you want your space to feel? When someone goes into your space, what's a comment that you might hear them say? Or what's something you think when you're going home? When I was a director of a rehab center, I used to take, maybe once every other week, I would take my bread maker in and I would make fresh bread. Now you can just imagine what that brought up for everyone, because for many of the people living there, this was their home. So the viewpoint of that is exactly what I was hoping to give to these people, is that this is what home smells like. So what I would ask you right now is I want you to take your piece of paper and your pencil and think about your viewpoint. What is the energy that you want in your space? And it can be one word, be that simple. I'm going to share my own in a moment, but I wanted to give you a chance to write down your thoughts and not have them be influenced. What is it that you want your container, your space to hold for you? Everyone looks very studious. I love it. Love it. Okay. So do you want to share, or do you want to hear what about me? Like, anybody got any voting?
I'll share.
Go ahead, Judy.
Oh,
I think you're muted.
am I muted?
Oh, there you are. Now I'm hearing you.
The first thing that came to mind for me was clear. And then I got
Yeah.
harmony. I want the harmony of space. But also
Good.
for me, I would say organized.
Okay. So do you walk into a space and feel organized?
No, that's more
Okay. So we want to put organized over here. And you had two other words. I think it was.
clear and harmony.
Okay. So now which one of those has a feeling associated to it?
You know, I sort of think clear does more.
Okay. So then that's the one that I would use as the viewpoint.
Yeah.
And then you can change that. You know, you can go back and forth between the two of them and feel while we're working today, and then use the handout and see which one you go, oh, that's the one. So these are some of my favorites. Anybody else want to share before I? Okay. Everybody's going to be quiet. So I have 4 that are my favorites.
Okay.
Harmony is one of them. Love.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Peace.
yeah.
Balance.
Oh.
There's all of those have a visceral physical experience. And I never thought about it too much. I mean, I always cultivated those things, but when I first moved to this house, I was working in Andover, so I needed somebody to help me with the cleaning in the house. And the woman would sometimes bring her husband, and they broken English. But the one thing he could tell me very clearly is, I love coming to your home because it feels peaceful. Now, first, this is a person who knows nothing about energy, but he got it because that was what I was cultivating. So you want to just be mindful around, what is it that I'm really looking for? I love quiet. I love peace. Some of you have seen, I sit out on my little deck. It's very peaceful. I'm looking at a lake. These are all, so the inside matches the outside. Okay. Everybody got their viewpoint, they think? Does anybody need tested out with me or with the group? Okay, good. All right. So now you've got a viewpoint, and from this point forward, those 3 those clearing, rebuilding, and strengthening, everything comes from the viewpoint of, does that support that, the viewpoint? Okay. All right. So now I'm going to go to screen share, and it is here. There we go. Okay. So the first step, it was clearing, right? So I've broken it down into 4 areas. And the first one is, of course, physical. This is the hottest topic on Netflix and YouTube, is about decluttering. But the thing I would invite you to do today is to pick one place. Maybe it's the place where you drop your keys when you walk into the house, and that tends to get all the collection. Maybe that's the one place that you're going to declutter, and that's going to take you back to your viewpoint, whatever your viewpoint is. Because you can declutter from the viewpoint of love. You can declutter from the viewpoint of balance. So you want to be looking at, here's my word, and here's your homework. What's that one place that you're going to declutter? And don't make it an entire room. That's a big project. One place. Maybe it's the stack of papers. Okay? So now you're clearing the physical. Your next step, I feel like this should be, mission impossible if you choose to take this assignment. So now looking at emotional clearing. And the words I have there are letting go and fears. Because usually the reason we don't let go is because of something we're afraid of. And the most common thing that I hear from clients, people, family is, I might need that. That's a very, very common. But when you look at it from an emotional viewpoint, what does that really mean? I might need it. Now, you haven't touched it in 2 or 3 years, maybe longer, but what is it that you're afraid of? So if I'm looking at that from my viewpoint of clearing energy, I'd be going, okay, you're afraid that you might need it, or are you afraid of being needy? So it's like looking at the emotion under that. And you only want to do one thing, one let go, one fear. Again, we all have fears. We all have things we need to let go that you might not be ready, whatever that means, right, to you. But you just want to pick one. And it can be your favorite sweatshirt that's fallen apart at the seams, but you're hanging on to it because it came from high school, or it came from your very first boyfriend or girlfriend or whoever it. So you want to be thinking about, what is it that I'm hanging on to that emotionally for? Now, does that mean you should throw it away? Well, then it moves, right? Then it moves up into the declutter. So it's, as long as you've made it to, you've chosen, okay, I'm going to let it go. Now it moves into a different category. So because we're looking at it through the energy world, right? It's changing categories, and on some level, you are letting go. Now it's in the declutter, and now you're going to go, okay, what am I going to do with this from my viewpoint? I think one of the big organizers or declutterer, I think her name is Marie. She wrote the book, I think, Does It Bring You Joy? And that's one of the questions I would ask them is, pick up whatever it is, and does this bring me joy? Well, maybe not. If it's a definite yes, joy is a pretty clear energy. Then you put that in. But if you're like, I'm not really sure, or it's no, I don't want to let go of it, but no. And the more honest you are with yourself, the clearer your space will get. So you want to look at it through an emotional lens. Then the next one is the mental lens. You want to decide yes or no, because that's usually one of the difficulties, is to committing to the vibration of whatever the energy is that you're wanting to have, whatever that is. It's one of the really common struggles that some people have is that they really want, say, a peaceful place, but they actually enjoy the drama, and they'll watch drama, different types of drama on TV, or they call their girlfriend. And so you want to really look at, am I gossiping? Do I really mean that I want peace? As an example. And then you need to commit to it. And once something goes into a pile, let's say you say, oh, this doesn't give me joy, I've put it into the pile, you've committed, you don't take it out of the pile again. So this is where you have to be honest with yourself. And that's a tough one, but you only want to do one thing. Don't want to overwhelm yourself. And then the clearing of the spiritual, this is the big vision. So why in the world, what's the big life lesson? If we go back to, I might need this, what's the big life lesson there? So you go back to the viewpoint, you go back to and you think, what is it that I'm hanging on to? What is it that I'm not letting go of? Oh, maybe it's something to do with your mom or your dad, and you're hanging on to whatever it is because of that relationship, but is it serving you? And that's where that spiritual piece comes in. Is it serving me? So it's a question to ask yourself. So in the clearing, so there are 4 categories right there that I've outlined. I'm not saying do all 4, maybe just do one of the areas. Depends upon how overwhelmed you get. But taking everything back to your viewpoint. Is this supporting my viewpoint? And then some clearing methods. This is by far this is the shortest list. The beautiful thing is you can just open the windows. Spring cleaning gets spring cleaning's reputation. And all you have to do is open your windows, because that allows that stagnant air. If you, for instance, declutter something, where's all that energy going? It's going to just hang out in your environment. But if you open the windows, declutter the area, then it takes that stale old energy with it. So opening windows is fabulous, even in the middle of winter. Doesn't have to be a long time. But when you set the intention, remember, energy follows thought, that you're going to open the windows and you're going to say bye-bye, and then you close your windows. So that's a fantastic, easy, not a fancy way. I'm pretty practical. I like things not fancy. So the next one is sound. And sound is really beautiful because in the physics world, everything is energy and everything vibrates. So if you find, let's say you need to clear out childhood things. You're going through a box or 2 or whatever of your stuff, and you haven't been able to do anything with it. You can actually play different types of sound, and it will help clear and loosen the energy. I don't even know how many different types of, some is drumming, some is chanting, some is shamanic. So it has that combination of sound from the person, from the shaman, and drumming and rattle, and all of that will shake up and change. And you don't have to play it for, hours and hours and hours. You can, and you can play it on a slow, low sound. But what that does is it frees up the energy, so then you have more space to make good decisions and to be able to quickly move that energy. And then another clearing method is, so today you're writing down, I've invited you to write down these thoughts and these emotions and these mental things that you want to clear. You've now started your journal, and you can put your thoughts, your emotions, the spiritual vision that you have for yourself, what your viewpoint is, in your journal. And that will allow you to track yourself and go, wow, I've come a long way by doing the following things. So I'm just going to stop the share. See, because this is the biggest area, clearing. Questions, anybody? Everybody has a plan? They're like, no, don't make me let go. Everybody's good? Yeah? All thumbs up? Wow, you guys must be all ready.
Not at all.
You're like, nope, not ready, but I'm listening. Okay, beautiful. So the next one is about rebuilding. We're going from clearing to rebuilding. And I'm going to introduce the concept Bagua. And Bagua is the feng shui word for map. That's basically what it is. And there are, I think, at least there were, when I took my training, 8 different schools of feng shui. And each one has different thoughts around how the energy moves and everything. The teacher that I had is a lot in alignment with my thinking. I like a little bit of that, a little bit of this, but it all has to make sense. So what she does or did is, I'm going to invite you to imagine that your space is a square, right? Just imagine, you can draw that if you want, but what you're going to want to identify is which way is the energy coming in of your space. So I'm going to give you some examples. Most people don't go home and walk into their front door. They go through the garage. Most people. But if you go through the front door, is that the place where the energy is coming in? Huh. Okay. Normally, you would say yes. Okay. Well, my car parks in the garage and I enter into my kitchen. Well, is that the way I want everybody coming into my house and the energy coming into my house? I don't think so. Okay. So what I've done is I have decided I want to really invite a very high vibration. So through my garage door, I've actually put prayer flags over the entrance so that it's holding the big vision. So those, in feng shui, that's called a remedy. So you want to be thinking, oh, okay, is that the door that I want everything to come through? Well, the answer is no, I don't want everything that's in the garage coming into my house. No, not really. But I can set up and say, oh, the only thing that comes in is this really big vision because of the prayer flags. Okay, so now my front door, what am I going to do with that? Well, I do have, when I treat clients in the house or students come for a workshop, they come through the front door. Oh, okay, well, that sounds good to me. I want to welcome opportunity. That's the kind of energy I want coming through my front door. I want to welcome new learning. I want to welcome people that I can help, things of that sort. Okay, so what have I done? I have put a little chime. So it's a wind chime. So when that door opens and closes, the wind chime moves, so the air moves. I also have a friend of mine who's an artist, and she makes they're fairly large abstract art, and I hung it above the door, and her work is about reflecting light. Sounds in alignment? So I want to reflect light, invite opportunity, look at new learning, even no matter whoever's coming in that door. All right. But neither one of those is where the energy is coming into my house. The energy is coming, so this window here, or this side of the house, faces the lake. Guess where all my energy is coming from? The diva of the lake. So that's kind of unusual, but it also makes sense. So now take a moment and think about your place, your space. Could be your room, could be your apartment, could be your house, whatever you want it to be. But we're just doing the outside parameters. Where's the energy coming into your space? If you're in an apartment, it might be just the door, right? The door that you come in and out, everybody comes in and out. Or if you've got some really beautiful windows, what are they facing? Is it facing nature? What? If it's another building, well, you know it's not coming from there. But if it's coming up at, say, your front door, which is the door you come in and out, how do you bring all the lovely energy up your staircase and to your door? How do you do that? Because that's what the Bagua is all about. Noticing where's your energy coming from. So for instance, I had a office space on the 3rd floor. Okay, so there was an elevator, there were stairs, but how do you invite the energy up? Well, you can put a sign on your door. You know, good-hearted people enter here. You're inviting the energy of what you're seeking, or maybe you get one of those doormats, right? That says, I only, only the, beautiful hearted people, like-minded people apply here. So you want to be thinking about, oh, what is it that I really want? And what's in alignment with my viewpoint? So that it becomes this idea of what, and then the next thing you know, you're online, or if you're out shopping, don't go out shopping now. I might be Miss Amazon. That's my favorite place in the world right now. And I just go on and say, oh, I wonder what doormats they have, so that you can invite in that energy, whatever it is that you're looking for, things that make you smile, whatever, again, go back to your viewpoint. So the Bagua becomes an incredibly, you start there. So the place that energy comes into your space is called the career wall. The career could be, it doesn't have to be job. It's about what is your purpose? What is your thing on the planet? Is it to bring happiness to people? Is it to help animals? Is it to, what, you want to keep asking that question till you go, oh, that's it. That's my, and I'm using the word career in a loose way, right? Because it's not black and white, because energy can be this and it can be that, and it, what I might perceive as good, you might perceive as, yeah, not so much. So you want to really think about your Bagua, and you can go online and you can look up Baguas and things like that. It'll be an image. I find that different images can be overwhelming. So the key pieces, you clear, right? You've got your viewpoint. Now you've cleared, you're clearing. Now you're going to start rebuilding it by inviting in the energy that you want. So there's where the Bagua comes in. And I'm going to tell you, it is a lifelong process, because as you change, the energy that you're going to want to invite in, is it going to get more, it's kind of like a fine wine. It gets better and better as you keep, oh, I think I'm going to do it this way. Or, oh, I think I'm going to, I'm going to wear pink, or I'm going to put my rose crystal there by the front door. So everyone that enters here knows that I'm talking about love or unconditional love. So I'm just going to put the share back up so that you guys can see the last bit. So that's the Bagua concept and how to, because as you decide, here's my viewpoint, I'm going to keep doing my clearing. Now I know that the energy starts, if you're in an apartment, that it starts here. This is where the energy comes in. So how am I going to get the energy up there? Oh, I'm going to invite it in. Well, how am I going to do that? Maybe you get a nice placemat, a doormat. Maybe you hang chimes. Maybe you find yourself in a really great with a crystal and you tape it at the top of your door. There's all kinds of really awesome ways to invite the energy in. And what that'll start doing is build your structure of your energy in your space, and it'll become more and more refined, more and more organized. Reiki is a fantastic way. So any of you guys who are Reiki masters, there is a protocol that every Reiki master does before a class, so that the more often I teach in a space, I do this rebuilding of the energy every single time, so that when a person comes in, it feels good. They feel hailed. And then chanting is a very powerful way to rebuild the energy. So for instance, if you're a Kuan Yin, there's some wonderful, it's a mixed one. I have it on my Kuan Yin, oh yeah, here it is. It's on one of my playlists. So if you're a Kuan Yin, it's the Kuan Yin, oops, sorry. What is, oh, here it is, Songs of Kuan Yin. I downloaded it off of iTunes. And it's a bunch of different types of people playing, but then that way, that music is what is rebuilding your space and really packing in the vibration of a Kuan Yin or a Mother Mary or that loving, nurturing energy. So when someone starts doing the rebuilding, I really encourage, like I probably didn't put pictures or any of that up for months. I set the pictures around the room, I doused it, and then I just let them sit. And then after a week, I came in, I'm like, starting dead douse again. Is this the location for this? Yes or no? Because if the energy's right, it's going to get a clear yes. So once you start putting things in place, the energy is going to get more organized and more crystalline, because that's an organized structure. You're going to move into strengthening. And the way you strengthen it is what makes you smile, what gives you, whatever your viewpoint is, it's whatever you go, yeah, I really like that. So it could be that you buy flowers for your front door, or you buy a fresh bouquet of flowers and you put it in your kitchen or on your counter. And every time you buy them, you go, wow, I just love that. That will strengthen the field in your space. Scent, a lot of people burn candles, or they do essential oils and have diffusers. And all of that is, the idea is that that's cultivating the vibration of your space. And you pick your scent according to your viewpoint again. We're back to the viewpoint. Then you can go to smoke. Now smoke is you can use a bunch of different types. You can use incense. You can use sweetgrass. You can use Palo Santo. You can use, all of these will help the space get stronger and stronger and more able to hold what your viewpoint is. Crystals are fantastic. The one thing I would say is it magnifies. So you want to be very mindful of how many crystals you have and what is their job. What are they doing for you? Because if you get too much, it's like too much salt in a dish. You want to be very mindful of them, and then you're going to need to clean them so that they keep building their strength around supporting your viewpoint. And then the last item is images. So I'm going to stop the share. So images is, I'll show you. I meant to pick this up before I sat down. So this is Greek. And needless to say, it's a Madonna, and it was a gift. But I love the feminine, the sacred feminine, the fact that that it's honored in all of us, because the strongest being on the planet is a female. They show no fear. If you're going to like harm one of their babies, I'm going to annihilate whatever it is, right? Because I'm going to protect. And then I'll take care of everyone's wounds and things of that sort. So you want to really think about the images that you're portraying and what you do. So for me, this is really the Madonna holding a baby, caring, nurturing, and you be mindful about the images that you post. Like above my desk here is a unicorn, and 40 years ago, so that's a long time ago, one of my first clients painted it. I was an occupational therapist on a psychiatric unit, and he painted it and gave it to me as a gift once he was having depression. And the discussion he and I had is, he goes, well, unicorns are magic and miracles. And he goes, and that's what you do. And so I framed it, and guess where it sits? Every day when I look at that, I'm looking at, okay, where can I hold that energy for everyone? So it's like you look at your images and you want to be very conscious about the selection and why they're there and what they're doing for you. And all of that builds your space. So, questions. It's a lot, right? I tried to make it simple.
Cindy, I have a question.
Absolutely.
So a lot of what you said makes perfect sense, and I love the fact that we're looking at it through a lens or a focus, or I can't remember what you called it.
The Bagua?
The viewpoint. I love that. Everything you do has to get filtered.
The viewpoint, start there.
Yeah. So the only thing that comes in my front door is Amazon. And I, like you, come in through the back, through my garage.
Mm-hmm.
but it's a dead end, so there's no energy flowing there, and all of the energy comes in through my patio because I have these beautiful windows and the light comes in,
Mhm.
and I don't know how to balance that because it seems like the front where it should be coming in is really kind of a dead end.
Well, the question I would have is, since you are coming in through the garage, what is it that you really want to come in with you? So, for instance, my remedy for my garage door is my prayer flags. You can put signs up, you can stickies, you want to think about what is it that I want to come in with me when I come home. Maybe it's the energy of home.
Yeah. Now that
I
makes
have
sense.
I have a big doormat and it says home sweet home. Comes in from my garage into my home because that's an important, I want that feeling when I come in the house. So that would be like one of the first places, because you shouldn't, that sounds like a judgment. It's like you don't want to, it's not helpful.
Right.
So then at the front door, you might want to think about what is it that you want. I think I'm going to stop the recording, you guys. There it is. There it is. And we're going to